And what statistic do you have to back that up that women are getting divorced based upon their mundaneness or just they
Them
want something
not
more
being
exciting?
happy.
And then you also stated that they're leaving their children and
No. I said they are leaving their families.
their
They're taking
families,
their
correct?
children and putting them in worse situations
Yeah.
because single motherhood, and you can
Uh-huh.
also look this statistic up.
Mhm.
Anybody could Google this stuff,
Mhm.
right? Single motherhood gives your children a higher rate of them not being successful in life and them
Mhm.
not having great relationships and them
Mhm.
actually ending up in jail, not being as educated, having issues later on and having to figure all of this stuff out on their own because they didn't have a two-parent household.
Mhm.
And this is even me speaking as a person who did not have a two-parent household.
Mhm.
So not only am I speaking from things that I actually experienced, but also from what's already documented. That's all I'm saying. Now, if
Mhm.
you decide you don't want children, you don't want that, by all means, go crazy. Live for you every day.
Mhm.
Live for you 100%. But the minute you decide that you're going to lay down with somebody or marry someone and you're going to bring another person into this world, it's no longer about just you. It's not.
And
Every
so,
decision you make has to be about the betterment of your family, just like with that man. And
mhm.
I think that's what a lot of women don't see, right? Like, we feel like it's so much pressure on us, but you're
Mhm.
not taking into consideration that there's even more pressure on the man because they take the burden of the entire family.
Mhm.
Things go wrong, it's on them. It's not on us. They can't protect, it's on them. They can't provide, it's on them. So both parties are deciding to sacrifice, and both parties are willing participants in that decision to sacrifice, whether you know it or not, the minute you decide to get into that union and create a family.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
And so, who's to say who's sacrificing more in that relationship? Because you said that men are sacrificing more. Who's to say who's sacrificing more in the relationship? Because you're saying that it falls back on men, but also when you're in a joint household and you have two parents, it falls back on both parties. Correct or incorrect?
That's not true.
Incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Because it falls back on the man. Because when you go through a divorce, the man is the one that's paying all of that money. The man has to leave his
In
house.
a traditional or a progressive household.
I'm talking about today. When you
Right.
when the woman filed for a divorce,
Uh huh.
the man got to get up out of there and leave. The judge
Uh
gonna be
huh.
like, bye bye. Okay, you have to go find you somewhere to stay. She gets to keep the house. She gets to keep the kids. She might get some alimony, some child support. The man is going to always make the bigger sacrifice. And I agree with Ty because I think that women do this thing where it's like really all about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like like I feel like you women don't even have a concept that the man, gets taken advantage of as well, right? Like the man makes sacrifices. The same sacrifice the woman makes
Mm-hmm.
in that relationship is the same sacrifice that the man makes. That's just how I
Mm-hmm.
feel. There's no, oh, I made this sacrifice to be with you. He made a sacrifice to be with you too and support the family and lead and be your covering and all the things that we need a man for. I
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to be in a relationship, if you don't want to have a family, be independent. But the moment you decide that you want to, because it's women that be like, I can do all of these things. You can to a certain extent. We don't make
Mm-hmm.
money to where we can do all of these things. And as a woman, honestly, why would you want to? Like, when did it become cool to work hard? I don't even want to pump my
Mm-hmm.
own gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't enjoy doing things like that. Like, so I'm like, when did it become so cool to be like super independent and oh, I can do all of this and I can pay my own bills and
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why that's so fun to y'all. Like, why do
So
y'all?
what happens when your man falters? What happens if your man gets sick? You're supposed to be a helpmate to your husband, and so you should always be willing and want to do
We're gonna
enough
always be
and
willing and
be,
able.
And a
I'm
good woman
listening.
will always be a
Uh
helpmate.
huh.
They will always be there to help. The
Mhm.
the role of us is to help. We are to assist. We take things in and we make it better. They give us a house, we make
Mhm.
it a home. They give us food, we make a meal. Like,
Mhm.
we elevate everything. But our goal is not to lay the foundation and build it from the ground up.
Mhm.
And that's what a lot of women are trying to do today. Y'all want to do it all. together. And
I
that's
mean,
great.
as
That's great
women,
if
do
that's
you
what you
not feel
want to
as
do.
though you should have a foundation for your own life before finding a partner? Because
You already do.
I think the original point was speaking to traditional roles. And traditionally, women aren't going to work and providing and doing 50-50. They're not doing none of that, right? That's traditionally, if we're speaking in those terms. So, with that being said, you're not adding to any foundation. You're not adding to anything else,
We didn't
correct?
say anything about traditional roles.
Hold on, y'all gotta let her finish.
I mean, the original question is about traditional roles. That's what I'm speaking towards.
The original question was, are women expected to sacrifice for love? It said nothing about the role having to be traditional.
No, the original question is, why are women saying no to traditional roles?
Was that what you asked, Lapeef?
So the main topic is why women are saying no. And then one of the questions that I had in reference to that particular video was why are women expected to sacrifice their dreams in the name of love?
Okay. So that's why I got confused, because that was the question I was going off of from the video, not from the traditional role thing. But well, if we're talking about the traditional roles,
it still goes back to the same basis of traditional roles within your household. Because if you're saying that's not your role as a woman, you were meant to do this as a woman, that speaks to traditional roles, correct?
What were the traditional roles of Black women?
The same traditional roles as any other woman.
No, that's not true.
We always work.
That's false. Because
I mean, it might depend on what you believe in.
It's not what you believe in. It's true. It's just history. Like, most Black women also had to work with their men, whether they were caretakers for somebody else's kids, whether they cleaned somebody's house, whether they did little stuff. We still went out and worked. So that's what I mean. Like, our tradition.
But then that goes to speak to, why did you say, why would you want to?
Why would you want to do all the work? Why do you want to do the heavy lifting is what we're saying. Why do you want to go out there and grit and try to climb all the way up the ladder and be the best of the best and pay all the bills on your own and hold everything down if you don't have to? Why?
But if we're talking about relationships, it would never be on your own, correct?
When you guys were talking about women being independent and wanting to chase after what they want to chase after, in comparison to them sacrificing those dreams for their family, my argument was that you can chase whatever you want to chase by yourself. But the minute you decide that you want a husband or you want children, whatever that is, you're going to have to sacrifice. That was my argument. You just, period. You have to. And you have to be okay with that. Right? Now, others may say, well, men don't have to make the same sacrifice because they're not built to make that same sacrifice. Their sacrifices are different than ours. They're supposed to go after their dreams. They're supposed to go as far as they possibly can and making money, providing, and protecting. That is their role. That's not our role.
And so how would you define your role as a woman?
My role as a woman is to be a helpmate. It's to be a nurturer, provider. I not only take care of myself, my children, but also my man. I make sure the house is good. I bring in what I can bring in, but I'm always here to assist. I'm never the leader. I'm never the one in charge making all the decisions.
That's why I was asking Andrea the question, because I was curious if the women, like, you subscribe to feminism, right, Casey? Is that a fair assessment?
I don't claim to subscribe to anything.
Okay, well then, maybe you could answer this question from that lane.